ain't tough. You might not get it. But how do you support athletes, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally in your position?
So I think that the mental aspect of it is way more than people really give it credit. I like to do a human first kind of approach because to me, again, I've been using your tagline more than 94. Like
There you go.
I really care how an athlete is doing when they walk into the athletic training room, and that's not just so they can practice. Like I genuinely
94, 94, it is more than 94. This is more than 94. Yeah, this more than 94. 90, more than 94. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of More Than 94, where athletes redefine success. Today, I'm your host, Nene, and today's guest, we have Natalie Trotter. She is from Shabuta, Mississippi. You thought I ain't gonna throw that in there. She's an athletic trainer. She's been an athletic trainer for 12 years. She did 4 years at Arkansas State, 8 years at University of Arkansas, and 5 years currently in the WNBA. Welcome to the podcast, Natalie. About time,
hello.
because you've been dodging me.
For about a year and a half, I
About a
have.
year and a half, you've been dodging me. That's all right though.
I'm
If
here
I
now. That's all.
if I was in my feelings about it, I wouldn't even had you at all at all.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, listen. Okay, so usually, obviously, I interview former athletes, but I feel like you've obviously been around athletes long enough that you could kind of share your perspective in from an athletic training point of view. And so, first question is, what inspired you to become an athletic trainer? Like, why an athletic trainer?
My high school basketball coach's son was actually an ATPT. And back in the day, we didn't have an athletic trainer at the school, so he would just come down a couple of days a week and check in on us. And as I was, approaching 12th grade, I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. I was really interested in the physical therapy side of it. And then I found out that he was dually credentialed as an AT as well. So I went to JUCO to do my PT requirements, but then I found out about athletic training, and I entered a undergraduate program for athletic training, and I have not looked back.
Because I had you at, we were at, what, I didn't know you were at University of Arkansas for 8 years. I feel like you were at Arkansas State longer.
I'm
But
old, Nene.
you old.
Old. Old.
So,
Yeah.
so what's like I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but like, I know you started collegiate, but like, where do you see yourself going now? Or like, where did you think you were going with athletic training in the beginning? And then like, where do you see yourself going now that you've been in it for 12 years?
12. Girl, redo that math.
Oh,
I was in Arkansas for 12 years. I told you I'm
17.
old.
17. Is it 17, right?
Yeah,
8.
a little bit
Yeah.
longer if you count grad school internships and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
But
okay.
that's a
I'm going
very
real deal jobs.
yeah. So that's a very interesting question right now. So I never really expected or planned on being in the WNBA, and I really, really did enjoy my time. Like I started at a super small JUCO where we had maybe one STEM unit, and then I was able to see the athletic trainers there use it. Then I moved from there to Valdosta State, which was a D2 school in South Georgia. From there, I did an internship at Auburn. I think it was spring of 2006 with track and field. Won a championship there with them. Left there. Where'd I go? Oh, grad school at Troy. Loved it. Again, these are super small schools. Troy was mid-major, or still is mid-major.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was presented with a couple opportunities for my first big girl job, and one of those was at Arkansas State working women's basketball. I had a couple other options, but they were like track and field or other things. So I did sign on to go to the good old Jonesboro, Arkansas,
Yeah.
for 4 years. And for somebody like myself that's from small town USA, like Jonesboro, to me, people want to talk about it all the time. But I mean, once you go there, like it just becomes a special place to me. Super small, some amazing people. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time in small town USA, and then the opportunity presented itself for me to go across the state to Arkansas. And I was at Arkansas for 8 years in a job that I absolutely positively love because I worked again with great people. Because I feel like where you are, like the people that are around you, kind of make it home. And then lo and behold, like again, just living life in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I get a call about coming to Atlanta from a connection that I had when I first arrived at Arkansas, and then pretty much the rest was history. And I've been in Atlanta for 5 years now, and I don't know, like I still love it. I love the day-to-day clinical care, taking care of the athletes. I love being in the team environment itself. I love the relationships that I'm able to build with these amazing human beings. But you always kind of think, okay, what's next? And then sometimes, God give you a little bit of a nudge to say, all right, what we doing next? So
Yeah.
I think that I am rapidly approaching the what's next part. And honestly, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've done a lot of things right along the journey. So it'll kind of just fill itself out if I just give it just a teeny tiny bit of time. But I do have a passion for athletes, for sports, for medicine in itself. So I'm pretty sure if I'm not doing the same exact thing, I'm still going to be doing something similar, just because I spent so long doing it and I'm truly passionate about it.
But how many years did you do with like basketball though? I feel like you got a little bias toward basketball.
I mean, again, you got to be a little bit crazy to want to do basketball. I've done basketball pretty much since I started. Grad school, I had basketball. At Troy, I had basketball. I had basketball and tennis at Troy in grad school. Then I left there, went to Arkansas State. At Arkansas State, I had basketball, bowling, and tennis.
Oh, okay. I know you had
And
bowling.
at Arkansas, yeah, yeah.
What kind of
When,
what do they need
so,
attention?
those athletes were in that athletic training room at
Nah, no
6:30
bowling. I
a.m.
ain't never seen no bowling person in no athletic training
Yes,
room.
yes, you better go ask your teammate.
Yeah, like I didn't
The
spend half my
bowling,
career in the athletic training room. I ain't never seen no bowler in there.
those bowlers were in the athletic training room.
For what kind of
I
injury?
promise you they were. Like chronic type stuff, like wrist stuff, ankle
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Why are you laughing? They worked
Because
out
I
too.
just never thought that they would really need an athletic trainer on hand.
They
like,
worked
for
out.
bowling.
John Thompson was their athletic trainer one time.
Oh,
See, you don't
see,
even remember them people. See, flashback. It's real. I covered
I
it.
guess so.
And
Bowling out here is real deal out here.
yeah, and then at Arkansas, I had women's basketball, women's golf. So I've kind of always signed on to it. And then, the basketball season takes up, really, it can mess up all of your holidays or your breaks because it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, and sometimes it'll catch you right on your spring break. So I don't know. I loved it, and I kind of stuck with it through college. And then in the W, it's kind of a flip schedule where you start in April and then you get done around October. So, yeah, it's a blast, but it is also a grind.
So we're going to a little bit of a tough question. It ain't tough. You might not get it. But how do you support athletes, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally in your position?
So I think that the mental aspect of it is way more than people really give it credit. I like to do a human first kind of approach because to me, again, I've been using your tagline more than 94. Like
Yeah.
I really care how an athlete is doing when they walk into the athletic training room, and that's not just so they can practice. Like I genuinely care. How are you? How are you doing today? How did you sleep? Like we talk about stuff that's outside of basketball in itself because so many times people get caught up in them just being athletes or entertainers that they forget that they are human first. And respectfully, I understand that they have a job to do. I have a job to do to get them prepared for practice. But that's not the big piece of the puzzle to me, because I know that if they can be treated like a human, listened to, then sometimes that goes a little bit far when it comes down to like moods and emotions and stuff like that. But myself, just because I know where I am professionally, I do take time and try my best to educate or gain knowledge in the mental health realm. Thankfully, here we use an absolutely positively amazing um, mental health provider, Dr. Kenza Gunter. She drops into practice sometimes. So she is just an additional resource, not only for the athletes, but the staff as well. She'll do occasional check ins with them. She'll just pull up at practice. She's at most of our games. So that's an amazing resource in itself. But you have to have a holistic approach when it does come to an athlete, because it's not always just the performance that they do on the floor. It's like the preparation, the prevention, the recovery, the wellness in itself that goes into like the whole or the holistic athlete. So it's a huge part in what I attempt to do every day.
I don't know. Back in 2008, 9, Natalie, me and you. I don't know.
That's
I tell that story. I tell that story to people all the time.
Oh, that you were about to die?
You about to die. Nellie's about to have me dead out in these streets because you got
You did not die though.
You got a cold, Natalie. You might just got a cold.
And who sat up there at the hospital with you?
Because you felt bad. You felt bad. You did. Low key. It's all right though. It's all right.
I actually did a research study on that.
You did? What'd you find out?
No.
But I'm glad you were better than yourself, because I don't know if the mental, not even just from you, but I don't know. Obviously, mental health was not a thing. I don't feel like
mental health was. It was
like get tough or get lost. It was not a thing when we played.
There was a huge stigma, and there is still a stigma that is surrounding it. But when you just said that, you almost made me cackle, because I had a couple flashbacks to practice, baby. Ring, ring, ring.
That's what I'm saying. This is like get tough. Like I get it, and I think we needed it because I think I was talking to Jazz or something. It's like we probably did have some issues we needed to get resolved. We never really truly had the resource.
Probably. Hey man, I remember a lot of issues, and most of the time you were in the middle of it.
I not the issue.
Ring, ring, ring. Somebody passed out. Then you had Hannah.
I ain't never been passed out. I ain't never been passed out.
No, it was whoever Schaefer was talking to that day. He said, ring, ring, ring at the top of the key, and they just passed out. I can't remember who it was.
Who was it? Oh, I know who it was. It was Shatir Stone.
You did not have to do first name and last name, dog.
Hey, I already know. We're gonna bring it up because I got she on the list of interviews next. I remember that.
Ring, ring, ring.
Oh my!
You got Schaefer on yet?
No, I had Schaefer on. I seen Schaefer at they play down here at one of the they got like a sports complex, and I was here, and it was like all the colleges were here because Tari was here, he was here. It was a whole bunch, but I talked to him then. But yeah, I hadn't had him on here yet. I ain't had a coach on here besides Coach Sullivan. I can't get nobody else to get on. I mean, I didn't really ask a whole lot of people either, but
I was about to say, come on now.
I ain't gonna sit there and say that. I hadn't asked a whole lot of people. I might get Brian Boyer here, but I didn't have too many Brian Boyer stories so far. I don't know. He might not.
Is he watching it? That's why
I think so. He followed me, so I'm assuming he do. And I tagged him in a few of them. So I'm gonna ask. I'm like, Coach B, go ahead and hop on.
Man, wild times.
Good old stories.
Yesterday, man. Just yesterday, and it was not.
Arkansas State.
Yup.
So, now that you said about being on top, but like, how do you outside of like staying on top of stuff like mental health issues? How do you do? What are other things that you do to stay like on top of the athletic field and in the know in that field?
Yeah, so rosters tend to vary year to year. There's obviously evidence-based practice, but depending on the way that our schedule is set up, like we do a lot of back-to-back. Sometimes our weeks are loaded. It depends on if it's an Olympic year or World Games year. So there's a super heavy focus, a lot on recovery. So it really depends on like what we're looking to push for, say, a week, a month, or the season in itself. And it just so happens that I feel like there's been a super heavy push the last 2 years on like overall health, wellness, and recovery, because obviously sleep, nutrition, hydration, like you can't outwork any of that stuff. So um, we have a little performance staff who has been absolutely amazing. Katie, they record like their wellness scores, their sleep scores, how they feel on their performance standpoint, and then from that, it kind of helps them recover. And then they also wear like heart rate monitors and stuff. So you really would have loved those because it lets you know how hard you're working at practice. And then from those numbers,
I
you
might have it
determine a
now.
high day. you're you'll have a high day high or a low day low. But it's kind of foolproof. So if you out there really working and you in shape, you good. But if you
Oh,
struggling,
okay.
know that you
Yeah,
not
those
in
people that
shape, so you
wasn't
can
going hard on
do.
that last lap or act like they
Uh,
couldn't practice.
yeah,
Yeah,
you remember all the miles.
do they wear a whoop watch or they just wear that? Is it that thing that like it look like a sports bra? Is what they wear?
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, they do heart rate monitors. They do heart rate monitors, connects on, flips into their shorts, and then now some of them are starting to wear Oura rings or they do Whoop. So we have a lot of data. We can't collect in-game data right now with any of that stuff, but I'm sure that with the evolution of the new CBA, that some things will happen where we could
So
do in-game.
so what um so what like what's the differences in athletes? And I mean, like it's obviously you got high level college and you got professional. But like what kind of differences do you see from going from an SEC to an Atlanta Dream as far as like athletes? Like attitude, all that stuff. Is stuff that this like are those athletes the same in a sense, or is what's the differences you kind of see between the collegiate world
Uh,
and the professional world when it comes to just
I
athletes?
think that it varies. I think that once you get to some of the elite of the elite, you have your pros, you have your pros, and then you have some of those that are just there, you know. Your pros are those that are going to take care of business. They don't have to have somebody with their thumb down. Like, they're going to be on time. They're going to show up with enough time to take care of their bodies, activate. They're going to stay after they get their shots up, cool down, whatever it is that they need. Then you have your pros that are, they're kind of figuring it out. They're really not going to cause any problems. They do what you tell them to do, or they utilize their resources. And then you just have the ones that are just there, the ones that are probably still a little bit young. Their bodies tend to bounce back if they want to go to the club, stay in the club to 3 a.m. and pull up at practice at 8 a.m., then they could easily do that as well. So I think that it's kind of just, you're forever an athlete, but also it's just a maturity level that comes with it. And a lot of the W athletes spend a significant amount of time overseas. So with that time overseas, I think that a lot of them are able to mature and grow. And then even in the same sense, some of them have to take care of their own bodies over there, or they're doing like rehab on a video call, or just trying to maintain with programs and plans that they have, because it's a little bit different being across the waters versus being here with day-to-day contact with your athletic trainer from your W team.
Gotcha. And so I'm gonna jump back into like the college and the athletic, student athletes, because I should have asked it a couple questions ago. But what when you were in college, what were like some common themes that you ran across with athletes? Like kind of common struggles or challenges with student athletes as an athletic trainer?
Man, well, I mean, in general, as an athletic trainer, it's, again, you got these young adults that are trying to make it. They don't even know how to go to the small mart on campus and pick up a prescription from from Walmart. Not even Walgreens, small mart, the super little Walmart where you just
Yeah.
go to the counter, get your prescription. So
Yeah.
some of my goals, again, more than 94, like teaching them the basic life skills, like
Yeah.
go and walk in there, Because I remember, again, not on the streets of Shibuya, but in Quitman, I could have been 8 or 9 years old. My mama sent some money, told me to go in there and get something. I knew how to go in there and get it. And this is as simple as you telling them your name, your date of birth, and they're going to hand you a bag of medication. But I don't know, it just varies. And then that's one of the things that I had to figure out a little bit later in my career. Like, we weren't all raised the same, and some people have certain challenges, whether that's socioeconomic, whatever. So there are just some things that they don't know, and then having the ability to be able to meet people where they are. Or now, I don't even know how they're making it with the NIL and those funds like that, because even back then, they get that little lump sum of money supposed to pay their rent up or pay ahead, and then here you go, right before the semester end, they ain't got no money because they already spent their money. Or you have some that just really aren't good with money. They're out there buying J's, and then they come up 2 months short for rent because they think that they're gonna just say they little per diem packets and pay for it, and it kind of gets out of pocket and out of hand. But I think that they're probably, in my opinion, well, excuse me, depending on where you now attend school, I think they're doing a little bit of a better job providing like financial education or financial responsibility type things to these athletes who are knocking down like this significant amount of money.
Yeah. So yeah, who's the jazz you're talking about? Like, we don't realize, like, all these folks is coming from different backgrounds, and we just assume that everybody come from our background. Because I remember playing with, who was it, Olivia. She didn't know how to wash her hair. I'm like, girl, what? Like, why are y'all out here washing her hair? Like, I'm just like, but I'm just like, if your mama did it, there's no reason for you to wash your hair. Like, my hair would have fell out because I would not have washed my hair.
Well, I mean, but you're also in the age of the COVID kids, like starting in like 2020. Like, think about these people who were in, say, these like medical programs, and they just matriculated through a program, and then here they go, they graduated, and they ain't even had patient contact to graduate with these degrees and stuff. So you know, it's a learned skill, and sometimes people, you know, you got helicopter parents and all that, especially if you play sports, that they handicap their kids, and it does them a disservice. You might be becoming one yourself.
Absolutely not. They'd be like, "Oh no, ma'am, I am not." We were just, matter of fact, he used to tell me something. Now he do baseball. That's his thing. But now all of a sudden he won't play basketball. That's fine. But if you're gonna play basketball, you gonna be you ain't gonna be the sucky coach's kid now.
Nene.
And so we was just at the gym just a minute ago before I came here. I had him lower the hoop, and we out there, and I'm gonna see some videos because he about to almost got Joe Jackson. But like, you gonna do stuff right. Like, we not coming out here, like I said, we gonna do stuff right. Once we finish doing stuff right, then you can go out here and play. We not gonna be shooting with 2 hands. I had him in that thing shoot with 1. Like, we gonna do it right.
You gonna make that baby not want to do basketball.
Listen, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna be try to be the one of the best. Listen, we out here, what is it? Baseball, this is his first season. So he did the fall, then he did the spring, then he did the fall season. I mean, he's the fastest kid out there. And it's sad because nowadays, like you said, COVID messed up a whole generation, because these kids, I know it's so terrible. I'm out there because I'm like, I said, boy, these kids can't even run. Like, how you run with the same leg, same arm? Like, how you even do that? Like, how?
They do it. They can figure out some weird stuff.
I'm like, what? And one little kid was running straight legged. How?
Because it's comfortable to them. It's comfortable.
It's called, I ain't gonna play outside, because you figure it out real quick outside. And so I'm just like, so he's like the best player on the team, pretty much, or he's like the fastest on the team. And then I'm out there telling him to hustle up, and he's like, he told me one time, can you not say something? I said, I'm just telling you to run fast and get ready and be serious. Look, I'm like, I forget you 5, but get ready for the ball to come. Listen, we be in a back cage. We be in a back cage every day.
I just want daddy to take me.
Oh, he's gotten to that point, but for baseball, he wants Jabari to take him. But basketball, I'm like, listen, if you're gonna play basketball, your daddy don't know nothing about basketball. So Yeah, he gonna be up here with me. And he can do it. You just know he can do. He's so athletic. He don't even know how athletic he is, and he can do it. I can tell him one time he knows how to do it. So he just be in his feelings about it. He is that part. He be in. He ain't get from me. That's from the bar. He be in his feelings. But you can't be. I can't play basketball and you suck. Like we not doing that. We just not gonna play. We just not.
Nene.
We not playing. If we suck, we not playing. We just got to do something. We got to stick to baseball because I want to have a child out here sucking in basketball. Just not doing it.
Just go to piano. You good?
Just
you good.
Piano. Listen. You ain't gotta put your body at risk. We can be a pianist. I'm fine with that. But we gonna be the greatest at the piano too. Like so, pick one. I don't care what you pick.
Let them kids be, man. Let them kids be.
They the one who wanted to play. I signed him up for flag football, and I wasn't because I'm like I don't even want you to play football. But he wanted to do flag because he seen one of our friends that do flag, which is fine. But I didn't know, so we signed up for like the development. So we didn't do competitive right away to see how he would do. I mean, next year he'll be in competitive, but
he was blazing, boy. He fast.
He went. I need to get him in track, but the time ain't work out at the time.
Yeah.
So we probably get him. He does like to run. Like dude be like, let's go run. Like what? Not me, because I am not running.
He will go outside and just run.
Let's race right now. No, go race your brother. And Harlem little bitty stuff is fast. So I'm like, go race your brother.
Can he beat you?
No, he will never be able to beat me anything. So I'm not worried about that.
Nene, you getting old.
And it's like riding a bike. You ain't gonna never be able to beat me.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that.
Never.
I'm remember that. That old man Arthur gonna be acting up in them knees.
Never. Hey, them knees are good right now. Hey, Swim did me right. They don't even be aching. What else was I saying? You got me off track. I done got off track. What was I doing? As far as that. So when so we talk about, obviously on the podcast, we talk about athletes transitioning. So if they don't go professional, so what kind of is there a bridge with in the athletic department as far as like seeing that transition, like when you see kids transition from just their last game to being just an adult, not even an athlete no more? Is that something that you talk to athletes about, or just have in contact about that transition from leaving the sport to becoming a whole adult with a whole job?
So in the college sector, I think that they're doing a lot better on collegiate campuses, trying to prepare these young men, young women to enter the real world. But that's what I feel like happened when they gave all those COVID years. I'm like, go be an adult. Y'all just trying to take this extra year. Some campuses are lucky enough to have like placement programs where they'll put them into internships or pretty much cakewalk them right into a first internship or a first job if you can meet whatever markers or parameters that they have. But I think that that's pretty similar in the professional realm of things as well, because you go into retirement, and a lot of times these are sports that you've played for 20 plus years, so it's really all that you know. And then you'll get some people who want to obviously get into coaching, and then with the W they are starting to bring on like former athletes onto staff and like some of your developmental positions. Some former athletes are assistant coaches, some former athletes are head coaches. But I think that even staffs in the W are somewhat starting to foster that, like making sure that the athletes are out in the community, making these media appearances, or in Atlanta, they kind of find out what some of your give backs are, what you're really interested in doing, and they try and place you in those type of events to keep you kind of connected with the community and grow from that aspect in itself. But if there is ultimately an interest and you express that interest, or that's something that's known that you want to do once you retire, then there are resources available a lot of times through like the front office or even the basketball side to try and help kind of facilitate that if it's something that you really want to do, or that's something that you're interested in.
Gotcha. Because I'm like, yeah, and I think they're getting better at it. I just but it's hard because you talk about like, but it's hard to do because it's hard to do when you only thing you're thinking about in all day is just basketball. Like there's nothing else to. I'm worried about going to practice, going to class, and going to take a nap. I'm not worried about going to internship, trying to go do this extracurricular activity on campus.
Yeah. Well, you have to be strategic, and time management is something that's huge when it comes down to either collegiate athletics or professional athletics in itself. You have this set amount of time, and then that doesn't include like your homework if practice runs over. So you have to really be accountable and responsible for your time in itself, in case like you got all this other stuff that you need to do, but it's easier to like upload in your off season. So I think that there are little bitty things that you could do along the way that actually add up instead of you trying to make it fit into 5 to 7 days a week, especially in season or during your season.
But you also have for those, like we went into season, we got preseason, season, postseason, and we had summer. I mean, you could do a little bit in the summertime, but 18-year-olds really thinking about that.
Summer basketball was just basic hours.
It was our whole life. It was.
It wasn't that much. You had a couple camps here, a couple camps there.
And we had camps we had to attend. And it's so what's weird,
I had to run that mile.
We had to do the camps. Like that was not something that we got to choose not to do. So we were at Arkansas State. So which is crazy now. Like I did the camp here at A&M, and it's like it was weird to me because I'm just like they got all hired help. Like where the girls at? Like nobody wants to come see me. I'm not even an Aggie, and they want to go see the girls. I'm just like Brian. I went to a mid-major. Brian Boyd would not have let this go down. Like y'all gonna be here, and I'm like, and I know they getting paid way more than we got paid to be at camp. Yeah. And it was just weird. I'm just like some of this stuff. I'm just like, dang, that's just. And then even though we gave Coach B a hard time, he did some good stuff. So like he made sure we was in the community and all that stuff. But I'm just like, it was kind of weird to me. I'm like, y'all hired all this extra help. Like them girls don't even know who I am. I'm like, they don't care who I am. Like, which they shouldn't, because I'm like, they here to come see the A&M basketball team. So it's just weird. Yeah, it's a whole nother world. I don't know. It's and NIL. Listen, give me some NIL money. I'd have been out there balling. You mean
right?
Balling.
A little of nothing. Wear this T-shirt.
It would have cost me nothing to live in Jonesboro balling. But it's more on the athletic trainer side. So, what are some? Like, how important is it in your field to become like as far as professional development? Like, how do you work your way up, like you did, basically, to where you got to? And is there a ceiling for athletic training?
So again, I just kind of put my head down and I did the work. And it's just interesting because I always try to be where my feet are. And again, right now in this moment, I'm leaning deep into what's for me is definitely for me. So I enjoyed the whole process. Even when I was in undergrad, that small JUCO, then I moved to a D2, then I moved to a mid-major. At every single location, I kind of saw the good, and these opportunities just kind of kept presenting themselves. They kept presenting themselves, and I just had to be open to it because this wasn't the first time that I was asked about considering going into the WNBA. But again, I never thought about that. I never thought about leaving Arkansas State to go to Arkansas, a Power 5 institution, because I found something good in every location that I was in, and I'd do it again 10 times over. In itself. So I kind of think that I believe in, you do good and then good finds you. So just taking care of some of those little things or not being above anything really. Like there's a book that talks about sweep the shed or even make your bed. I don't make your bed, but the point is like doing those little teeny meticulous things or not being too big to handle some of the tiny stuff because you should really, really lock in and do what's required even when nobody is watching. So, it has taken me this far and it will continue to take me on,
Gotcha. So that kind of, Yeah, you kind of answered that question, like what advice you would give, or unless you have some more, what advice outside of that would you give somebody that's aspiring to be an athletic trainer?
I mean, I just think that it's really not for the weak. A lot of people see some of the glory, like I love it, and it's a true selfless job. You have to have a servant's heart, and sometimes you can do absolutely everything right and still, like right now, our rosters carry about 12. You can do everything right and still be wrong for one person, or
Yeah,
it could be one situation or one instant that scars it for them. But you quickly become like a family. You got to really want it, understand that you are behind the scenes. Got to have a servant's heart, and it's just something that's selfless and day in, day out. Like you got to be ready to go to war with these athletes, taping them back together. You have to really be passionate about helping and serving people in order to be successful with it. So I like to tell the ones that think they want to do NFL, it's not all about the lights. So
yeah.
just make sure that you know your purpose and your why.
That's good. That's good. Because ain't no way you pay me to take somebody's feet. I'm not doing it.
It's really not that bad.
I'm not doing it. Listen, and I can imagine because I see the foot. Oh no, I'm good. The football. I
The
didn't see some football feet. Listen, ain't no way I'm taping those.
feet scare you.
Yeah, I don't do feet. I don't do feet. Feet just, and they can be ugly and smell good. Like I'm not. It's just certain things. It's like some people just ain't. The hygiene ain't there, and that right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to keep your sock on, sir. Like, ma'am, like what are we doing? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
So that in itself, like that right there would have taken me out. Like I'm good on taping all ankles.
Yeah.
At any point.
It's
But
not
what are
that bad.
some
You kind of
so
get used to it.
yeah, just like ain't no use to that one. But what are some, if you look back, not saying you regret anything, but like what is something that you might have done different or not in your career up to this point? Probably told me to go to the hospital. One of them should be on your list.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Probably. I don't know. Probably dream big, and just be
Okay.
open to opportunities. Because again, I was happy, and they're the bigger things that never really crossed my mind. But again, being where my feet are is kind of what got me to where I am. So it's kind of a little bit of a give and take, knowing and believing in yourself, making sure that you got mentors and a little village to support you when you're in the thick of it and things get hard. But yeah.
That's it. All right, we're wrapping up here for a few last questions, but what are like, these are just fun random questions. What is one of your favorite memories of all time working with student athletes? So far.
No, I mean, you say so far like I'm not like
I'm
headed
just saying
towards the
you still got a career left. I mean,
maybe.
you still got some time.
Um,
Like one of
I
them. I
don't
know you probably got a
know.
whole bunch, but at least one.
Well, I'm trying to think about it, but to me, it's like that little crazy stuff day in, day out. Like
Yeah.
not being able to pronounce acetaminophen, playing Scrabble, playing board games in the athletic training room is not really like a championship kind of thing. It could be something that's so dumb to some people, but it is just the teeny tiny day in day out kind of moments where the athletic training room is full of laughs. It could be full of pain, sorrow, all of that good stuff all at
Yeah.
the same time, but you're there in a span of a day. You're able to experience it all. So I don't really have one
I have
of
one. I have one.
with me.
For you, yes. I mean, I lived in the training room.
Oh
What was his
Lord.
name? D
Probably
Ray.
for
D
me.
Ray. Remember them? I know you know what I'm talking about. Remember he came in there, he was doing something, and I don't know, he must have said something wrong or something, or he there complaining about something. When I tell you, and me and both of him, all he could do was laugh. He was just like, she literally just cussed me out without saying one cuss word, and he was,
Talking about me?
yes, you got onto him for something. You weren't even his athletic trainer. But
That was Chad.
that was Chad, and he did something. I don't know what he did, but I was just over there laughing because I'm just like, she really did. And he was like, she just got mad at me. He said she's like, I felt like she just cussed me out when I was saying
My
cuss words.
bad. They say it's all in my look, all in my face.
I was dying. I was dying.
Yeah.
I got a couple. No, that was probably one.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably a whole bunch more. You know, I spent 4 years in the athletic training room, so
yeah.
That's one of the ones.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a particular injury or athlete recovery story that stands out to you?
I mean, I think that yours was kind of unique and interesting because you just got to the point of, well, I'm not finna get this thing fixed. Give me my brace and I'm finna finish. That was a wild time back then because
wow.
It probably even let you do that now.
Wild.
I don't know. I think each experience is different, and then like no recovery or rehab approach is cookie cutter. And then you could have this plan of 4 to 6 weeks. It could be 3.5 weeks. It could be 8. It could be 9. It could be 12.
Yeah.
Just being able to lock in and adjust. But thus is life, you know. Like you got to pivot a lot in life. Sometimes if that swelling don't go anywhere, you gotta pivot again. So just the story of life.
Story of life. And I'm over here I'm like, listen, I was in the athletic training room. I can low key be a little athletic assistant.
Yeah.
I just went. I had to go visit my aunt that just had she had a back surgery on some vertebrae. So she had the initial surgery, and then she had got like some blood infection. So she was like really bad, had some infection. So then they had to get rid of the infection. Then they had to go back in, and then they fixed a whole bunch of more stuff. So she was like really bad. And so I just got back, was on Tuesday. I went on Sunday, came back on Tuesday. But like now she's in her walker and stuff. And I'm over here, like, listen, you can do this. You can do this. We was walking and everything. Listen, yeah. I got a little bit.
You ain't had enough. You should have a whole notebook full.
Listen, I was like, because she like hunching over. And then I used the famous, I don't know if these are your famous words, but if it hurt, then don't do it. So I was like, well,
stay above that pain threshold, baby. Stay above that pain threshold.
You ain't finna go back to your doctor. I didn't told you to do something that hurt. I said, if it hurt, then we ain't doing it. Don't do that movement. So yeah. I was, giving her some of my experience, my 4-year experience of athletic training.
Yeah.
Crazy. But that is it. Any last words, or what do you want like listeners to get from when they listen to this podcast episode?
I don't know. I feel like this was a lot of fun. I am happy that you did launch and you're taking it more than 94. But I think that little orange ball or any sport that you play, it runs so much deeper than the sport itself. It kind of prepares you, gives you some life skills and how the game really does apply to off the court, off the turf. Like the game is very applicable in the game of life. So, just being intentional, planning and all that fun stuff is just a part of it. But get your kids involved in sports, number one. But yeah. That's it. This has been fun, though. Thank you for having me, even if it did take me a year and a half.
A whole year and a half. Well, thanks for being on, and that is game.
If I'ma start it, I'ma finish it. I'ma show all of you folk with the businesses. Walk